All right, well, here we go. This is kind of the moment of truth, moment of all we've been doing here for the last hours. Hours we've been put into this. So I'm going to turn it on now for the very first time, and hopefully we're going to see something on that monitor. We'll see. All right, here we go. Did it turn on? I can't tell. Huh. Let me check something. Hold on. Oh. Okay. So something you really want to make sure is on the back of your power supply, there's an on switch. I forgot to push the on switch. All right, so on switch is on. The good news is now I have a light in the case, and I'll show you. All right, there you go. That means, whoops, can you see it on more? There you go. That means that there is power somewhere in this computer. There's power. So I'll put this back where it belongs. And now for real, this is the moment of truth. Things are happening. I hear fans coming on. Still waiting to see something on this screen. Hopefully there's some sort of a boot screen or something. Well, nothing yet, so maybe something's wrong. So what we can do is we'll open up the side and see what's on, what's not on, see if maybe there's something, some error code that the motherboard might be giving us, and we'll see. So I'm going to bring you around with me so you can see what I see. Well, immediately I see a red light on in the on the motherboard, and I may have to figure out what that means. I have very strong airflow coming out the back. So these fans are all kind of on full. I've got an A2. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to check the monitor. I mean, the manual on the motherboard to see what an A2 error means. And this is part of the job. This is part of building a computer. There's very possibly something we messed up, something we did wrong. Something I can do is, since I still have my other computer hooked up, I'm going to look up really quick what an A2 fault is and see if I can't figure out what that is. So I'm going to take a short break. I'll be back with you shortly. Maybe we can get this guy on. So I'm kind of a dummy, I guess, but you know, so are you if you're watching this video. So we're kind of being dummies together. So here's our computer, and it's not lit very well, so you can't see necessarily what's going on here. But I can show you. Whoops. So I don't know if you can see in there or not. Yeah, you can. So right in here we have, and most modern boards do this, they have error codes. So the very first time I started this up, I got a weird error code. It was like A2 or something like that. I had no idea what A2 was. So I looked it up, and apparently it had something to do with the display something or other. The display wasn't compatible. And what I had done first was I plugged the HDMI thing in this thing, and I plugged it into my spare monitor over here, which was HDMI. And apparently the board didn't like that. So I pulled this other monitor out just to make sure, you know. And when you're going through your troubleshooting, you have to hopefully have some parts laying around that you can swap in and out. And as you can see now, everything's working. And when I did some other things, I screwed around and I was getting an error code of CE. Well, unfortunately, that's not an error code. That's just regular. That just means it's working, I think, because it's basically booted up over here. And so I can look at all kinds of things over here now. Everything works. It appears to anyway. So now I have to start. Also, what I did was I unplugged a bunch of things in here just to sort of rule out any other problems. So what I'm going to now do is plug things back in one by one and make sure that when I boot back up, everything is back to working condition, because it appears to be working. It does. I've got a screen over here. This is what they call posting. So if you've ever heard anybody talk about your computer is posting, that's what this is. It means it's physically working. Every motherboard comes with a little program on it called the BIOS, and that's what this is. It's BIOS. So you don't even have to have a hard drive installed, and it'll still show you something on your screen. It wasn't before because I didn't have the right connector connecting to the screen, but apparently it does now. And so what I'm going to do is I will just turn this off, plug stuff back in, make sure everything still works, and then we'll see. So we're going to jump ahead to that. So let me turn this off. Boop, it goes off. And then, of course, anytime you're going to mess around with stuff in there, you want to not just turn it off, but unplug it, because if there's no juice, whoa, am I bright, and I'm sorry about that. Anytime you're digging around in there, you definitely want to unplug things. So I'm going to plug this USB header back in because I thought that might be a problem. Like so. I am going to plug these two USB things back in because I thought that might be a problem. Give me a little more. Good, right there. Whoopsie. Actually, I'll plug them in down here. That's fair right there. And then I had an old Mac keyboard that I was hopefully trying to use, and I don't know if that was a problem or not. So I'm gonna turn it back on, see if things work. Oops. Well, obviously you have to put the power back in, turn it on. Now we'll turn it on. Okay, and it's going to go through its booting, and we're going to watch and make sure. And if we get a picture over here, that's good news. So I also, in this mess, I moved the graphics card from the slot that we put it in at first up to the top. Now that's a good sign when we see that the BIOS is booting up or whatever that is. Good sign. If I actually wanted to go into some settings. Okay, no keyboard detected. That means something because apparently it doesn't like my keyboard being an old Mac keyboard. Good, I guess. Yeah, okay, so we're back up here. This is good news. This is good news that I've plugged everything back in and it still works. So, for this very moment, I can come over here and I can say, and this is a really, really nice BIOS. There's some that are all graphical, or at least they've been graphical my entire building career. Some have been more helpful than others. This is an actual GUI, or graphical user interface BIOS, which is pretty advanced. It's pretty nice. So we are going to let's see, what does this do? Oh, look at that. Optimal, power saving, normal. Optimal means it's gonna be amazing. Power savings, Nah, I don't want that. So right now we're just gonna do normal for now, just to get it up and running. And basically, I'm going to pop my operating system in there and see if it installs the operating system. So I'll close this up and see where we are. So we'll pause this, and I will be back, hopefully with good news that we have an operating system. Yeah, so we'll try that later. All right, well, so after a little bit of tinkering, a little bit of fooling, futzing, I got the Ubuntu 14, I don't know what it is, 14.04 distro of Linux on the big computer. I simply plugged in my my Logitech keyboard that was from my other computer. I also had a old gyro, what is this called? Gyration? I had an old gyration keyboard that was uses a little dongle here, and that worked too, but I didn't like the big old dongle hanging off there, and this thing just has a little tiny little spot there. I'll probably move that to the back just to keep things nice and smooth. I have a card, a CF card in my card reader right here, and I've got my fancy little girly shot that that's actually what I do. I take a lot of pictures of girls. Oop. Oh, that's the next one. I'm glad that wasn't anything that you shouldn't have seen. Anyway, I've got the internet working here. This is my website. So yeah, the computer is working, and I was bummed because the coolest thing about this case wasn't working, and I could not figure out for the life of me why it wasn't working. And it was because, well, you know what? I didn't read the manual first, but I don't think that the manual would have helped me because it wasn't really clear on what to do. I actually had to go online and figure it out, but it was just a connection that I hadn't made. Look at that. Yeah, look at that. That's nice, right? And I can change it all different colors. It can be red or blue or green or purple. What is that? That's like a teal. Purple's kind of nice. Purple's nice. And the red is actually really soothing too. What's really nice is the button on top, the power button on top. It matches. So whatever this is matches on the top there too. Green isn't bad, but that's too much a little like Alienware, and I'm not a big fan of Alienware. But so and there's the blue. So I might keep it blue for now. Anyway, so that's our beast build, and maybe in another video, another time, I will do some benchmarking or at least just some comparison to the old computer to see how fast things actually are, and to do that. Now, right now, I've just got the Ubuntu on a little SSD drive. The next step will be as soon as I think that I'm ready, and that might be in the next day or two. I'm going to transfer my system drive over from the old computer into this one, and then if that goes well, then I'll transfer all the other drives over into it, and then I will do a full swap of the computer. So looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to a faster computer. I hope that you learned something. I wish I could have told you a little bit more about the problems I had getting it going, but to be completely honest, they were mostly my fault. They were me just figuring that I could plug anything in anywhere and it would work, and that's not really the case. Apparently my video card needed to be plugged into the DVI port and not the HDMI. I believe that the HDMI is going to be for a second monitor, just like I have things set up on my other computer here. And what else was wrong? Obviously, I didn't plug in the power for this. I didn't know how that worked. And other than that, there really wasn't a problem. Because I didn't have a screen, I couldn't see what was actually happening. And what was actually happening was it was booting. Everything was working. It's just because I didn't see it, and because I don't have a speaker hooked up in there. computers, motherboards used to come with a tiny little speaker on there, and it would go beep beep. It would at least let you know what was going on. They don't anymore, so they don't really come with speakers. You can hook one up, but it's just annoying. I don't. So because all of that happening and I didn't have a video, I didn't understand that it physically was working. I just couldn't see it until I plugged the right plug into the video card. But as you can see, I got a working computer. Everything is fine. It's not too loud. I have to kind of play with the fans later to see which ones I can dial down a bit so that it's even quieter. But yeah, I can't wait to get this under my desk and get to work on some video projects and see how much faster this thing really is. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave me a message, leave me a note. Let me know what you liked about it, what you hated about it. I know they went long. I understand that, but for people who have never built a computer before, hopefully you actually saw some of my mistakes, and how long and how you know, easy it is. It's easy, but you do have to take your time. You can't just slap these things in the computer case and expect them to work. So anyway, this is Greg. I'm signing off. So until next time, until you see me crash a drone, or until you see me post a little video project that I'm doing, I'll see you next time.